Hello, nice to see you again. Here is The Rocking Horse Winner by D.H.Lawrence. In today's discussion, we'll be talking about the story at a glance, the list of characters, main points, that is really a kind of a short summary, and there is executive summary, critical comments, and the story in nutshell, the discussion in nutshell. So, welcome to my YouTube channel, Bachelor and Master English. Today, as I have already told you, we are talking about the story, short story by D.H.Lawrence. The title of the story is The Rocking Horse Winner. It's the story that was written in the time of war, and the theme that D.H.Lawrence adapted was different. Graham Greene and D.H.Lawrence, they were writing in a different way. The trend of the period was different, and they were writing in a different way. They captured family matters, child's psychology, and fatalism, material wealth, so many things that how people could be satisfied. People thought material satisfaction would be enough, but actually material gratification doesn't give people eternal satisfaction. Anyway, we are talking about these different issues regarding this D.H.Lawrence story, The Rocking Horse Winner. Now, here is a glance, quick looking at the story and the plot, the type of work, the moral value, the genre. This is a fiction, what I am written here. And this is short fiction, especially we call it short story. And the type of work, that's middle class life, women's ambition after marriage, and the child psychology. Okay, the theme is parental negligence, faulty sense of value, stylish living, the cheap goal of marriage for material objects, and if you have luck, you can earn money. If you have no luck, you can't earn money. That's a kind of luck talking about its fatalism. Okay, here is a plot. There is a middle class woman uh, who wants to live a different sort of life, and she wants to live the life that is similar to those people of high class London, high class people or middle class people, and that life living, and the right set of partners, right set of friends, right set of relationships. So that right type of concept comes with money. And there is a woman who doesn't care about the children, but she only cares about the money, how she gets and how she can spend for family status. So that's the story. We'll be talking about it later here. Just have a look. And these characters in the story, here is the protagonist, that is Paul himself, Hester, Paul's mother. This is another character. She is taken as antagonist here in the story. Actually, uh, her desire for wealth, her gratification for wealth, and every time she talks about money, and there is the echo in the house, there must be money. So this there must be money concept comes with this woman, this woman's insatiable desire for money. That's Hester works as antagonist in the story. Bassett, another character, is a gardener here, who shows interest to horse racing, and incites fall for that horse racing. And here is Oscar Creswell, that is Hester's brother and Paul's maternal uncle. He is also supporting to Paul, and most characters here, except Hester, these are confidants of Paul. Paul is a young boy who wants love from his mother, who wants care from his mother, and the care and love that he expects from his mother, but his mother focuses on material wealth, and she only loves and cares them when there is money. She adores them, but she has a different attitude to the children. Okay, here are main points of the story. The Rocking Horse Winner is a short story by D.H.Lawrence. Hester's young son Paul, in an effort to make his mother happy, wins a large sum of money by betting on horses. However, his efforts lead to his disaster, death. Paul becomes determined to make his mother happy by earning more money, whether it be gambling or not. It doesn't matter. He wants more money, and with more money, he wants to satisfy his mother, and he wants to be loved by his mother. Paul believes that riding his rocking horse gives him knowledge about the horse race. So it's a kind of false belief. But he believes when he rocks on his wooden horse, that was given as a present on Christmas, and this rocking on the horse, wooden horse, he believes that he gets the idea of the horse race and which horse can win, and by betting on that he will earn more money. That's a kind of gambling, and for this Paul is supported by Bassett and his maternal uncle. Paul believes that he can satisfy his mother. Paul makes a winning bet that earns his family a handsome sum of money, but his frenzied rocking leads him to fall off his rocking horse and sink into a cum. He eventually dies. There is clairvoyance for this Paul. That's a tragedy of the story. This is a tragic end, and even with this tragic end, there is no realization in this woman, the Londoner, who wants to live that London life with more money, wants to flow money like flowing the river. But how is it possible? It's over ambition, over material gratification desire. That's the psychology that is affecting the child psychology of this principal character Paul. Okay, there is Paul rocking on his horse. Now let's go with the summary of the story. The story describes a young middle class English woman who had no luck. Though outwardly successful, she is haunted by a sense of failure. Her husband is a ne'er-do-well, and her work as a commercial artist does not earn as much as she would like. The family's life exceeds its income, and unspoken anxiety uh, about money permeates the household. Her children, a son, Paul, and his two sisters, sense this anxiety. They even claim they can hear the house whispering or echoing, there must be more money. There must be more money, echoes everywhere from the house at every time. The siblings of Paul in that house, they are facing, they have been listening this time and again. Paul tells his uncle Oscar Creswell about betting on horse races with Bassett, the gardener. He has been placing bets using his pocket money, and his victory. He has won and saved 3,020 pounds sterling. Sometimes he says he's sure of a winner for an upcoming race, and the horses he names do in a fact win. Sometimes at remarkable odds, Uncle Oscar and Bassett both place large bets on the horses Paul names. After more winnings, Paul and Oscar arrange to give the mother a gift of 5,000 pounds, but the gift only lets her spend more disappointed. Paul tries that ever to be lucky. As the Derby approaches, Paul is determined to learn the winner. Concerned about his health, his mother rushes home from a party and discovers his secret. He has been spending hours riding his rocking horse, sometimes all night long, until he gets there, into a clairvoyant state where he can be sure of the winner's name. Paul remains through the day of the Derby. Informed by Creswell, Bassett has placed Paul's bet on Malabar of 14-1. When he is informed by Bassett that he now has 80,000 pounds sterling, Paul says to his mother, "I never told you, mother, that if I can ride my horse and get there, then I am absolutely sure." "Oh, absolutely, mother. Did I ever tell you I am lucky?" "No, you never did," said his mother. But the boy died in the night. And even as he lay dead, his mother heard her brother's voice saying to her, "My God, Hester, you are 80 or 1,000 to the good, and a poor devil of a son of the bad." But poor devil, his best son, his best gone out of life, where he rides his rocking horse to find a winner. That's the summary of the story in English. Now, let's discuss the story in Nepali. खेलौना घोडा विजेता D.H. Lawrence को एउटा चर्चित कथा हो। यो 1920 अथवा प्रथम विश्वयुद्ध सकिएको समयमा प्रकाशित भएको हो। यो चाहिँ बाल मनोविज्ञान, भाग्यवाद र अनि त्यसपछि यो भौतिक सुख सुविधासँग सम्बन्धित विवाह र अनि त्यसपछि पाउने एउटा स्तरीय जीवनको जुन महिलाहरूले गरेका अपेक्षा र त्यसपछि विवाहपछि उनीहरूले चाहिँ परिवारमा देख्न सक्ने सुख सुविधा, आइस आराम सब, अनि श्रीमानले धेरै पैसा कमाउने, अब श्रीमानले आफूभन्दा कम कमायो भने श्रीमतीले उसलाई चाहिँ अभागी अथवा भाग्य नभएको, भाग्यवान नभएको भन्ने, यस्ता यस्ता चाहिँ अब विशेष गरी यो D.H. लरेन्सको कथाहरूमा के छ भन्दाखेरि उसको उपन्यास या कथा जुनसुकै हेरौँ, त्यहाँ चाहिँ आमाप्रति छोराछोरीहरूको बढी चाहिँ लगाव हुन्छ। बाउलाई चाहिँ परिवारको अलि गतिलो सदस्यको रूपमा हेरिन्न, अलि अभागी, थोरै कमाउने, अनि त्यति राम्रो व्यवहार नभएको, अभद्र, त्यस्तै अनि त्यसपछि आफ्नै कारणले चाहिँ परिवार खुसी भएको भन्ने जुन महिलाहरूको चाहिँ एउटा परिवारमा त्यस्तो खालको देखाउँछ। अब चाहे उनले लेखेको कविता पियानो होस्, चाहे अरू कथाहरू हुन्, उनको D.H. लरेन्सको कथामा विशेष गरी चाहिँ बाल मनोविज्ञान, आमाका कारणले बाउ र छोराछोरीको बिचमा पनि राम्रो सम्बन्ध हुन सकेका हुँदैन। आमाकै कारणले, आमाकै अहमको कारणले बाउ र आमाको बिचमा सम्बन्ध राम्रो हुँदैन। आफू भाग्यमानी भएको र आफू भाग्यमानी भएको हुनाले त्यो परिवार राम्रो भएको भन्ने चाहिँ एउटा अहमवाद चाहिँ महिलाले त्यो त्याग बोकिराखेको हुनाले अनि हो बाउ त यस्तो रहेछ है भनेर बाउको बारेमा नकारात्मक छाप यसरी पारिदिने चाहिँ आमा र अनि त्यही आमाको कारणले, त्यही आमाको चाहिँ एउटा पैसामा चाहिँ एकदम रमाउने र पैसाभन्दा चाहिँ अरू चिजलाई देख्दै नदेख्ने अनि अरूको चाहिँ देखावटी जुन एउटा संसार छ, अरूले यसो गर्छन् भने मैले किन नगर्ने, आफ्नो हैसियत नहेरिकन घाँटी हेरेर हाड निल्न नजान्ने महिलाहरूको अवस्था चाहिँ यहाँ हेर्न पाइन्छ क्या। यो जुन पलको आमा हेस्टर छ, यो चाहिँ अलि अव्यवहारिक महिला हो। उनलाई चाहिँ अब त्यस्तै खालको जिन्दगी चाहिन्छ। उसले जुन आफ्नो आर्थिक हैसियतले नपत्याए पनि त्यो हुनुपर्छ भन्ने, तर त्यसको लागि त धेरै पैसा चाहियो। धेरै पैसा चाहिनको लागि उसले जसरी तसरी चाहिँ भाग्यमानी छोराछोरीहरूले मात्र चाहिँ पैसा कमाउन सक्छ, अभागीले सक्दैन। भाग्यले पैसा कमाउन सक्छ तर पैसाले भाग्य किन्न सक्दैन भन्ने खालका चाहिँ धारणाहरू चाहिँ बच्चाको दिमागमा भरिदिएको कारणले पलले चाहिँ म भाग्यमानी छु, म भाग्यमानी हुन्छु र आमाको माया पाउँछु भनेर उसले चाहिँ धेरै कुराहरू गर्छ। खास चाहिँ पलले चाहिँ अब घोडा दौडमा बाजी राख्ने अनि उसलाई चाहिँ उसको माली बेसेट र उसको मामा अस्कार क्रेसवेलले उसले चाहिँ विभिन्न रूपमा सहयोग गरिरहेका हुन्छन् र उनीहरूसँग मिलेर उसले चाहिँ विभिन्न एउटा साझेदारीमा त्यस्तो खालको व्यवसाय, एउटा जुवा खेल्ने प्रतिस्पर्धामा उनीहरूले लगाएर पैसा पनि उसले पलले भनेको ठाउँमा, पलले भनेको घोडाले जित्छ भनेर उनीहरूले पनि त्यो एउटा खालको चाहिँ अड्कलबाजीमा उनीहरू साथ दिएर अनि पलकै कारणले उनीहरूले पनि चाहिँ जिते। अब यसरी जति पैसा ल्याएर चाहिँ अब आमालाई दिए पनि आमालाई त्यो पैसाले पुग्दैन पुग्नु, अनि आमा खुसी नै नहुने, अन्त आमालाई म खुसी बनाएरै छोड्छु भनेर लाग्ने क्रममा आखिरीमा बच्चा त्यस्तो खालको एउटा जुवाडे बन्यो। त्यो चाहिँ घोडा दौडको चाहिँ एउटा अनि आफ्नो काठको घोडामा चढेर अनि खेलौना घोडामा चढेर उसले चाहिँ संसारका ठुल्ठुला घोडा दौडमा म आफू चाहिँ सिपालु छु, मैले भनेको घोडाले जित्छ भन्ने खालको चाहिँ एउटा त्यस्तो रोमानी कल्पना गर्छ। रोमानी कल्पना गर्छ, उसको चाहिँ अड्कलबाजी पनि चाहिँ सही हुन्छ। यस्तो खालको चाहिँ पात्र पल र उसको चाहिँ एउटा अकालैमा मृत्यु हुने अवस्था, उसको आमाको भौतिक सुख सुविधाप्रतिको चाहिँ मोह र उसले चाहिँ जुनसुकै जति कमाएर दिए पनि आमाले चाहिँ त्यो पैसालाई एउटा व्यवस्थित रूपमा खर्च गर्नुको सट्टा एकदम अब खोला बगे चाहिँ बगाउने गरी गरेको हुनाले पललाई चाहिँ त्यो खालको आफू भाग्यमानी छु भन्ने आमालाई प्रभावित पारेर आफू आमाबाट माया पाउने प्रेम एउटा चाहिँ लालसामा उसले धेरै एउटा चाहिँ गर्यो, तर बिचरा दुर्भाग्यवश उसको अकालैमा मृत्यु भयो। ऊ घोडामै बसेर अनि लास्ट जुन अन्तिम चाहिँ उसले बाजी त्यो थापेको थियो मालाबार 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 भन्दा आखिरीमा मालाबारले नै जित्यो। तर त्यो मालाबारले जिते पनि त्यसबाट चाहिँ त्यो ले जितेको लगेर पैसा आमालाई दिउँला र खुसी बनाउला भन्दाखेरि छोरो मरिसकेको हुन्छ। त्यो कुरा चाहिँ अब हेस्टरलाई उसको आफ्नो भाइ अस्कार क्रेसवेलले अथवा पलको मामाले चाहिँ त्यो कुरा बताइदिएको हुन्छ, तिम्रो भाइ तिम्रो छोरो त बितिसक्यो तर ढिलो भइसक्यो, उसले उसको मनोविज्ञान मनोदशा नै त्यस्तो भइसकेको थियो। यसरी चाहिँ यो कथामा एउटा D.H. लरेन्सले बाल मनोविज्ञान, भौतिक सुख सुविधा खोज्ने आमाका र बाबुलाई चाहिँ नजरअन्दाज गर्ने, बाबुको हैसियतलाई चाहिँ नजरअन्दाज गर्ने बाबुको एउटा आमाको जुन एउटा सम्बन्ध छ, त्यसले गर्दाखेरि बाल मनोविज्ञानमा कस्तो असर पर्छ त भन्ने कुरालाई चाहिँ यहाँ प्रष्ट पार्न खोजेको छ। ल अब यसको कथाको सारांश नेपालीमा म चाहिँ यसरी भन्दैछु। पौललाई आफ्नी आमाको दुःख मन पर्दैन थियो। उसकी आमालाई उसको बाबु धन कमाउने भाग्यमानी भएको लागेन। के भाग्य नै सम्पत्ति हो त आमा भनेर पौलले सोद्धा पैसा भएर भाग्य हुने होइन, बरु भाग्य भए पैसा हुने कुरा हो भनेर आमा भन्छन्। आफू भाग्यमानी भएको कारण उसको बाबुसँग बिहे भएकाले हो भनेर आमाले हास्यास्पद उत्तर पनि दिन्छन्। पौलको मनमा यस कुराले जरो गाड्छ र लाग्छ उसमा असीमित धन कमाउने भाग्य जाएको छ। पौल आफ्नो माली ब्यासेटसँग हुन्छ र ब्यासेट घोडा दौडको खेलको कुरा गर्छ, धन कमाउने कुरा गर्छ। घरमा खेलाउना घोडा छ। पौल त्यही घोडा चढेर साँच्चीको घोडा चढेको दौडमा समावेश भएको कल्पना गर्छ। उसले भाग्यलाई जितेको सोच्छ। उसले घोडा विजेता भएको ठान्छ। मैले माले घोडाको नाम के हो भनी सोधेकोमा पहिले त नाम छैन भन्छ, तर त्यसपछि विजेता आफ्नो खेलाउना घोडाको नाम विजेता घोडाको नाम रहेको कुरा गर्छ। पौल साँच्चीको घोडा दौड खेलमा भाग लिन्छ। ब्यासेटले उसलाई दिएको 5 सिलिङ हार्छ। उता मामा अस्कारबाट लिएको 10 सिलिङ पछि भने जित्दै जान्छ। उसले आफ्नै मामासँग 25 पाउन्ड बाजी थाप्छ र उसले भनेको क्याफेटेल प्रथम भएकोले बाजी जित्छ। यसमा पौल र ब्यासेट बीच साझेदारी गोप्य थियो। पौल मामा अस्कारलाई साक्षी हुन आग्रह गर्छ र मामालाई गोप्य राख्न अनुरोध गर्छ। यो कुरा सकेसम्म अरूलाई थाहा नहोस् भनेर त्यसलाई गोपनीय रूपमा राख्ने कुरा चाहिँ उनीहरूको बिचमा हुन्छ। अस्कारलाई भान्जा पौलले 1200 पाउन्ड जितेको रहस्य थाहा हुन्छ। उसले भान्जा पौलसँग प्रशस्त रकम भएको चाल पाउँछ। मामा हिस्सेदार बन्छन्। उनीहरूको चाहिँ बाजी थाप्नेमा उनीहरू सँगसँगै हिस्सा लिन्छन् र अनि पौलले जे भन्छ त्यसमा उनीहरू पनि पत्याउँछन्। जे भए पनि पौल आफ्नो भाग्य जागेको कुरा गोप्य राख्न चाहन्छ। आमा हेस्टरले धन कमाउने यो बाटोतिर पौललाई लाग्ने विचार नगरेको भए पनि उसकी आमालाई जहिले पनि पैसाको अभाव भएको लाग्थ्यो। उनी आफ्नै कमाइबाट पनि सन्तुष्ट थिएनन्, किनभने उनको इच्छा बहुमूल्य गहना कपडाहरू र अनि त्यसपछि एउटा त्यस्तै खालको पहिरनतर्फ थियो। उनलाई पानी बगे जस्तै पैसा बगाउन चाहना थियो। पौलले आमाको जन्मदिन मनाउन गोप्य रूपमा 5 वर्षलाई पुग्ने गरी 5000 पाउन्ड दिन चाह्यो, तर आमाले त्यत्रो रकम एकैचोटि उपयोग गर्ने जिद्दी गर्न थालिन्। पौलले पनि ठुलो रेस खेलमा अथवा ठुलो घोडा दौडमा भाग लिएर धन जित्ने आँटले ठिक छ ल खर्च गर्नुहोस् भनेर भन्यो। आमाको जन्मदिन धुमधाम साथ मनाए पनि अझ बढी रकम चाहियो भन्ने आवाज घरमा अझै जीवित रह्यो। जो घरका कुना कुनाबाट अझै धेरै पैसा चाहियो, धेरै चाहिन्छ है यो पैसा भन्ने कुरा जतिखेर पनि त्यहाँ गुन्जिरहन्थ्यो। पौल र उसका बहिनीहरूले दिदीबहिनीहरूले त्यो कुरा सुनिरहन्थे। अब धेरै पैसा चाहियो तर कसरी पाउने हैन? अनि अब उसले चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ उसलाई पिरल्यो, छोरा पौललाई पिरल्यो र उसले अर्को घोडा दौडमा भाग लिने बारेमा, अश्व रेसमा भाग लिने बारेमा सोच्यो। जुवामा छोरो लागेको थाहा पाएकी आमाले पौललाई गाली गरिन्। तापनि छोरा पौलको मनमा यो गढेर रह्यो। आमाले हावापानी फेर्न सल्लाह दिए पनि, अर्को ठाउँमा जान सल्लाह दिए पनि पौलले यो बिर्सन सकेन। डर्बी खेल खेलिनुभन्दा अघिल्लो रात उसकी आमा एउटा पार्टीमा गएकी थिइन्। डर्बीको कुराले पौलमा विकृति ल्याइदिएको छ आमालाई थाहा भयो। मनमा सन्तोष नलागेकोले पार्टी भएको ठाउँबाट उनले घरमा फोन गर्दा छोरो पौलसहित सबैजना सुतिसकेको थाहा पाउँछिन् र त्यो पाएर उनी खुसी हुन्छन्। परन्तु उनी घर पुग्दा त छोरो बेहोस थियो र बेहोसीमै बरबराएको थियो। मालाबार भन्दै ऊ चिच्याउँथ्यो। मालाबार दौडमा सामेल घोडाको नाम थियो। तेस्रो दिन उसको हालत अझ नराम्रो भयो। मामा कतै देखा परेन। अस्कार क्रेसवेल। आमालाई मन नपरे पनि ब्यासेट आयो। त्यो गार्डनरलाई त्यो हेस्टरले त्यति मन पराउँदैन थिइन्, तर पनि ऊ आयो। उसले मालाबार पहिलो भएको र पौलले 70 देखि 80 हजार पाउन्ड जितेको कुरा सुनायो। मालाबार जुन घोडा दौडकोमा चाहिँ मालाबार प्रथम भयो र उसले चाहिँ 70-80 हजार पाउन्ड जितेको चाहिँ कुरा सुनायो। मालाबारले जित्यो, म भाग्यमानी छैन त भनेर ऊ बरबरायो। यस्तो भनेको सुन्दा पनि त्यति खुसी नहुने आमाको छोरो काठको घोडा चढेर जितार घोडा ठम्ब्याउन सक्ने त्यो दुखी छोरा पौल संसारै छोडेर अन्यत्र गयो। आखिर पौलको दुःखद निधन भयो। That's the discussion of the story in Nepali, the rocking horse winner, खेलौना घोडा विजेता. Now, here is the discussion of the critical comments. We'll be talking about it. The rocking horse winner is a short story that incorporates elements of the fable, the fantasy, and the fairy tale. Like a fable, it presents a moral. Like a fantasy, it presents chimerical events, the boy's ability to foretell the winners of the horse races, the whispering house. Like fairy tale, it sets the scene with simple words like house in a Mother Goose story. Mother Goose. There was a woman who was beautiful, who studied with all the advantages, yet she had no luck. She married her love, and the love turned to dust. She had bony children, yet she felt they had been thrust upon her, and she could not love them. There were a boy and two little girls, three siblings. They lived in a pleasant house with a garden, and they had discreet servants and felt themselves superior to anyone in the neighborhood. At first glance, The Rocking Horse Winner by D.H.Lawrence is a simple short story. It is set in England after the First World War. Unlike the literary trend of the age, the story revolves around a family medium income with woman who is deeply dissatisfied with reality. Obsession with wealth is theme recurring in this work. And ends rather ironically, albeit the outcomes in Lawrence's story is far more ominous. The woman is deeply dissatisfied with her life and believes she was denied happiness and prosperity. Hester is obsessed with wealth, and eventually her obsession leads to the disastrous outcome. That's the untimely demise of her hen that laid golden eggs daily. In The Rocking Horse Winner by D.H.Lawrence, we follow a story about a boy whose mother sees herself and her family as very unlucky. Hester does not appreciate her husband and her son. She is unhappy and feels that it should not be the case. To her mind, the key to success is luck. As being lucky ensures you can always solve any problem, manage anything, and earn to win a fortune. Hester is bitter and displeased with everything she has. Lawrence describes her actions in a manner that makes the readers question her motherly feelings. It seems as though Hester convinced herself thoroughly that she could not look forward to anything pleasant in her life, which makes her bitter and unable to love and be compassionate. Hester shows her dissatisfaction with reality. She believes she was destined to be rich and happy, but she is misguided in her convictions. The source of her happiness is external, that it should come from outside. She tells her son that she used to be happy once before she got married, and explains that her husband is very unlucky. Hester believes that the source of her dissatisfaction is the absence of luck, and she shows her obsession with money. She believes her husband is not rich due to the absence of luck. The tone of Lawrence's story is ironic yet ominous. Hester is convinced that if it were not for the lack of money, uh, they would be happy. The desire for acquiring more money is the driving force of the plot. The desire for more money leaves Hester bitter, unhappy, and unable to express her motherly love. Through the story, it is obvious that the mother concentrates primarily on her misery in life, predominantly that she lacks all the wealth she desires. Hester, it is her son Paul, uh, in whom she aberrantly confides in, revealing her bitter feelings about her unlucky husband. He wants to win money for his mother, not for himself, in order to prove that he has the luck that his father lacks. Paul's eagerness to be lucky and win plenty of money is caused by his mother's unhappiness. Innocent, sensitive, and intelligent Paul becomes the victim of a cold, unfeeling, grasping, materialistic woman disguised in the cover of a loving mother. Paul is merely a child and cannot understand that his mother's unhappiness is not caused by external reasons but is rather intertwined with her internal bitterness and an ability to appreciate her life. Hester faces tragic repercussion of her mistakes as she has to witness her golden egg laying on. Paul dies in a frenzied and feverish state of exhaustion. It is because of her insatiable desire to live standard life. She shows her obsession with money. Lawrence's story has a disastrous yet ironic finale. The ironic, albeit gloomy, ending of Lawrence's story conveys a moral lesson about the value of life. This story critically judges those who associate love with money and luck with happiness. The Rocking Horse winner recounts the dark tale of young Paul and his cold, socially ambitious mother, a woman whose ruthless pursuit of wealth kills her emotionally and him literally. Living in a style beyond their means, Lawrence suggests through his story that materialism and love cannot coexist. Hester pressures Paul to satisfy her materialistic desire by demonstrating the lack of love in materialism. Lawrence suggests that external sources like money and luck cannot bring one happiness. Instead, happiness must come from within. The juxtaposition of Hester's greed with Paul's generosity highlights the dichotomy between materialism and love. Okay, here is Paul and his mother, with his mother and sister in one picture, and another picture we can see Paul rocking on his wooden horse. So these two pictures have a kind of glimpse how children want to be happy with mother, and how Paul enjoys rocking his wooden horse, and dreams of earning more money and showing himself as a lucky fellow. Okay, it was Paul's mother, Hester, who was responsible for her son's untimely demise. Oscar Cresswell was the brother of Paul's mother. He knew that his sister was the most greedy woman. Her craving for money could never reach the limit. It was her very craziness for money of his mother that had driven Paul from one set to another. He was sorry to see his mother cry so much for money, more and more money. The death had ended Paul's untiring effort. uh, to make more and more money for his mother by proving that he was lucky. The title of the story is relevant in the sense that rocking horse motivates Paul to horse racing. This setup game can make a man rich overnight. Therefore, the title in which the term horse does exist does not look irrelevant and unnatural. The racing horse plays a symbolic role in the story. Paul is addicted to the gambling of horse racing, finds help stop his mother's whispering about more money. The title, The Rocking Horse, implies the idea of horse racing, which further happens to symbolize the concept of winner. Paul's mother was not satisfied even if Paul had been lucky enough to make money hand over fist. He did not find his mother's whispering stop. Therefore, he dreamed to have his bet on a Derby horse and win several £1,000. But unfortunately, his wish for it was foiled by his foolish mother herself. It shocked Paul and he died an early death. The children always had anxiety in the house, even though they lived a style life. It was because they feared that their parents' small income was not so good enough to keep up style in days to come. Mother told Paul that luck would ever bring money, but not vice versa. As I already mentioned, luck would bring money, but money would not bring luck. They had no car because their father was not lucky. It so affected Paul's mind that he would ride his rocking horse and that it would lead him to where there was luck. Thus, his mind turned to gambling. D.H.Lawrence's story, The Rocking Horse Winner, in this we have the following the touch on the subject of wealth. The British elite maintained their position by living at the right addresses, attending the right schools, and having the right friends. In The Rocking Horse Winner, Lawrence emphasizes the mother's persistent drive to live life in style despite the family's modest income. The need for wealth turns the house into a whispering gallery of voices. There must be more money. Although much of early 20th century literature is about war and its effects, writers like D.H. Lawrence and Graham Greene explored conflicts at home in their writings. Lawrence's story comments on the unseen conflict at work within a seemingly happy family. In this story, Paul hears his house desperate but silently, there must be more money. Hester tries to stand with British elite, and for that more money is must with the family's manager. She regards the family manager. She doesn't care about her husband, and she thinks herself more fortunate than her husband. And the husband-wife relationship is like dust, turning to dust. So this woman, hypocrite, snob woman, doesn't lead to family satisfaction, family, ideal family life. Okay, that's all with the discussion. Now let's talk about the story in nutshell. This is the wrapping of the story here. The Rocking Horse Winner is a story about luck, money, and success, and the dangers of chasing after these and investing too much in them, trying to accrue wealth, ending up destroying everything. In this story, a young boy, Paul, perceives that there is never enough money in his family. He sets out to find a way to get more money through luck. He discovers that if he rides his rocking horse fast enough, he will somehow know the name of the winning horse in the next race. He begins to make money and secretly give this money to his mother. But the desire for more money only grows more intense instead of going away. He finally rides his rocking horse so furiously in order to discover the winner of the derby that he falls into illness and dies. This whole story is about being lucky, fortunate. A boy named Paul who asked his mother, why they are not rich. His mother said, this is because your father has no luck. However, Paul was convinced that he could find his own luck. His drive to find luck was fueled by the whispers that he heard echoing throughout the house, there must be more money. Paul, a pre-adolescent boy, spends a lot of time shut away in the room riding the horse, and that he rides it so frenziedly that he ends up going into a trance. We might add that tellingly, Paul has moved the rocking horse from the nursery into his bedroom, suggesting a desire to upgrade from childhood into adolescence, which would include a desire for sexual knowledge and exploration. Sometimes this is related to Freudian psychology as well. That's one part of interpretation. The attachment of child's, especially son with mother, is a kind of Oedipus complex that could be noticed here. But we are not talking about that. The psychological interpretation or Freudian psychoanalytical or other psychoanalytical interpretation can go forth, but when there is not good relationship between husband and wife or father and mother, mother's attachment to son could be a kind of part that can be discussed, but it can be if Paul seems he is matured and he can have good relationship with mother. He wants to be loved, so that love may be a part of psychoanalytical description. Anyway, that's the end of today's discussion with D.H.Lawrence short story, The Rocking Horse Winner. I'm sure you got the point. It's a long video here, and it tries to capture a lot of discussions regarding this story, and I'm sure you'll support me by subscribing my channel and encouraging me to discuss more literary pieces with my YouTube channel, Bachelor and Master English. If you have not subscribed my channel, I request you again to subscribe my channel, and if this video discussion is worthy, please share with your friends and fellows. I'll be back with other more videos for academic discussion, scholarly discussion in the days to come. Thank you for your time and patience.